Alright, hello guys, and how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about our second winter thoughts video. We're just going to be updating you guys on all of the latest information for the upcoming, very far out winter of 2021 to 2022. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is your gut feeling for how you think this upcoming winter is going to go? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at those sea surface temperatures around the entire world. This is the most important thing we can be doing in the very long range. Obviously, it's only June, so we're a good 6 months away from when we're going to be actually in the winter. So we need to take a look at some of the things that are going to change slower. That's going to be our best bet to get really good information. Obviously, model guidance is okay too, but the accuracy is going to be a little bit sketchy. So let's just take a look at our main areas. I mean, we're seeing a lot going on here. The biggest change there is if you see that red blob off the western coast of the United States, that has moved actually further eastward. And this tells me that our PDO might not necessarily for sure be a negative PDO. We could move towards a positive PDO. If that red blob takes over, we could be taking a look at potentially a positive PDO. But for now, let's just go ahead and take a look at all these oscillations that we can actually decipher right now. And it does look like we are in a negative PDO for now. That is kind of changing, so we'll watch this over the coming months and obviously the next half a year up until the winter, and see if this does potentially change, as it is kind of evolving a little bit there. So we're going to be watching that PDO. The ENSO is actively changing. This is actively kind of in a neutral phase where it can really go in either direction. We are on the more El Nino side of things compared to the La Nina side of things, which is very interesting. But I do expect that we will mostly stay either at a neutral or a La Nina by the time we're taking a look at the wintertime. The NAO is going to be it's going to be the most likely one to change between now and the wintertime. And right now we're in kind of a negative NAO pattern where these waters are encouraging a negative NAO, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will always be a negative NAO. Just more times than not, when you're taking a look at a long range, I guess, monthly or seasonal forecast, it'll be just more negative than positive most of the time. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day change. This is important because it tells us what has changed over the past 7 days. So, as you can see, it's kind of just all over the place here. We've mostly cooled actually around the entire globe over the past 7 days. We see a lot of cooling along the eastern seaboard there over the past 7 days. We see a lot of warming there along the west coast, which again could be that that PDO changing. Also, that blue blob in the middle, that could be the colder PDO temperatures around the middle. So we're going to need to watch that closely, because we would be looking for warmer sea surface temperatures to horseshoe around that colder blob there. That would be a classic positive PDO. We're going to need to watch that very closely. A positive PDO would encourage colder than normal conditions for the eastern United States. A negative PDO would encourage that colder air to be closer to the western United States. So hopefully that makes sense. What we're going to do in a moment is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at our ENSO chart, our Nino 3.4 index, and we're also going to take a look at the month-by-month forecast according to the CFS model, and we're also going to take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center thinks for this upcoming winter. Here is that Nino 3.4 index, and as you can see, it is rising. It's been rising since March, slowly but surely. There's been ups and downs, but in general, this has been steadily climbing. It's not necessarily a El Nino by any means, like I said, but it is in that neutral ENSO side of things, and it is on the El Nino side of the neutral ENSO. So we are climbing. We're going to need to see if this sticks around the same area and kind of levels off, or if it drops, or if it continues to go up. I think an El Nino is the least likely ENSO phase to be in for this upcoming winter, but it is not impossible. So we will watch that closely. A neutral ENSO would give us probably the best winter in the eastern United States for cold and snow lovers. A La Nina is a close second, and El Nino does give you that chance of having a complete torch winter, which I know a lot of you are probably dreading the idea of that possibly happening. Just a completely warm winter across the entire United States. That does happen with El Nino sometimes. It happens with all ENSO phases sometimes, but I feel like more typically an El Nino would give you a good chance at that potentially happening, which definitely gives me the chills. I don't like the idea of that. Here's the North Atlantic sea surface temperature anomalies. This is obviously pretty important as well, but we went from a pretty positive, pretty warm Atlantic to cooling a lot, and this is going to matter for the hurricane season, obviously, as well. But it is kind of curving back up. I think we're going to see some significant warming in the Atlantic coming up soon as we approach the hurricane season. Now, the ENSO forecast here, and as you can see, the things down below, we're looking for DJF, which is December, January, and February. So as you can see, that's way towards the right, but we are expected to be pretty much at a neutral ENSO. Most of these individual models, it's kind of like a spaghetti model. We see each individual line as a different model. You can see the list of those on the right, but we are expected to be pretty much a neutral ENSO, probably on the La Nina side of things, if anything. But there's a few that take us pretty far into a weaker El Nino or a moderate El Nino. There is also some that take us into a moderate La Nina as well, but the overwhelming favorite here is to just be in a neutral ENSO throughout that entire winter, even in through January, February, March, which is into kind of late winter as well. Now, what we're going to do in a moment here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at that CFS model, finally take a look at kind of a surface map, take a look at this temperature forecasts for December, January, and February, and then the precipitation forecast for December, January, then February as well, and then take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center has to say for the upcoming winter. Now, keep in mind, this is mostly for entertainment purposes. I don't think that this is going to continue to show this exact thing, or even close, as we get towards the winter. I just want to show you, just to be transparent, what this model is calling for as of right now, but I do expect huge changes, obviously, between then and now, or now and then. Really, this is December. This does look kind of realistic. This is a typical winter pattern that you could get in. Cold up there for the north central and the northwest. Warm kind of for the southeast, the east coast, and then down through the southwest as well. So I'm not saying that's impossible. Complete torch for January, according to this model. And then by the time we reach February, we finally get kind of a cold in the east, warm in the west pattern. So we kind of get a palette of pretty much everything in any given month here, according to this model. I do think it could be different. I think it will be different than what this model is calling for, considering we're at June 2nd, according to this model. This is the June 2nd run. I'm making this on June 3rd. I really expect massive changes. Take this with a grain of salt, to say the least. This model will change a trillion times between now and the winter. So this is mostly, again, for entertainment purposes. We will continue to watch as this model updates just to see how it evolves as I make these winter thoughts videos. And it will become more accurate as we get into the fall months and everything. But for now, this is a very long-range outlook from a model like this. Here's the precipitation outlook for December. And as you can see, pretty much stormy everywhere. It gets a little bit more dry for January, especially for the southeast and the southwest there. And then same story for February. Maybe some nor'easters here in February, especially southern sliders maybe. It looks like some good amounts of precipitation down there for the Gulf states and such. So we'll be watching for that as well. Here's the Climate Prediction Center real quick, their temperature forecast. And as you can see, they're calling for warm on the eastern seaboard, warm in the southwest as well, but kind of cold potentially for the central, north central as well, or the northwest. They never call for colder than normal conditions at all, even though there's usually colder than normal conditions somewhere. They don't like to do that. So that's very typical. Usually when I see the equal chances, I just assume that's going to be colder than normal in there, because you usually don't see normal temperatures in there. So that's what we expect here. The precipitation forecast, the only area they pinpointed here is the north central United States, and they expect above average precipitation up there. So take that with a grain of salt. That's really just, they don't really have an opinion too much yet. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, obviously we are at a significantly low 2 out of 6 because, well, we're 6 months away. So we're taking a look at a very long-range outlook here. People are always curious about the winter, so I make these regardless of, how much it really matters anyway. But I know you guys are interested in what the current thoughts are, even though you have to take them with a grain of salt, like I said. So we're at a 2 out of 6. We're going to progressively just continue to climb up this ladder until we reach a 6 eventually. By the time we're taking a look at, well, late November, early December. First things first, I want to enjoy my summer. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's get right into the Patron highlight of the day. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, John Benbenek, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Little the Pan, and Donna Carnes, alongside our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Quidalessa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flago, Gary's, John Quilisi, and Dwight Phelan.
If you'd like to join our exciting Patreon page, you can do so by joining that Patreon page down below in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Hair Farms 1 and Catbite as well. That's next to the subscribe button, just in case you wanted to join that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to destroy the like button. Be sure to leave a comment down below to help that YouTube algorithm out. And be sure to subscribe if you like weather-related content. I will see you guys in the next video.